Hello everyone, welcome back to Learn English. Thank you so much for liking the videos and posting your valuable comments. Honestly speaking, I have never thought of creating more videos, since 2019 because nowadays if you want information on any particular topic, you end up receiving loads of good content. But then when I read the comments, I thought of sharing my understanding of quite a few topics mentioned by my viewers. One such topic was about descriptive writing. So I just wanted to share something about how to produce a good piece of writing. So let's move ahead. So for this topic, our focus will be on using a range of figurative language to describe a jungle scene. Now, many of you must be wondering about figurative language, so I'll be creating a video on that. So for this lesson, we will be recalling the purpose of narrative devices. Then we'll use, definitely when we describe something, you use wider vocabulary to describe an image. And based on that, you can have a good piece of creative writing. So now, very important, when you describe anything or any particular object, or you want to write on any subject, so we focus on word types. Now, what do I mean when I say word types? Now, must be aware of parts of speech. Now, those who are not, under this comes nouns, pronouns, adjectives, verbs, adverbs, conjunctions, interjections, prepositions. If you would like, I'll create a video on that as well. So for descriptive writing, we talk about adjectives. Now, what are adjectives? Adjectives are words that describe nouns. Nouns, in simpler form, you can say naming words. For that is the shiny mirror. So if you just say the mirror, we are talking about the noun. But if you how would you describe this noun? You can say the shiny mirror, or if you can just think of some more words to describe a mirror, a glossy mirror. So likewise. Now, adjectives, here you can say they describe. Now, what is it? What is its function? It is describing here the mirror's appearance. Without this, you see, the readers wouldn't know if the mirror was like how the mirror looks like, whether it was clean or dusty or what it was like at all. So, and very important that remember that adjectives, they describes nouns, as I told you. I'm sorry I didn't mention this, but nouns are names of people, places and things. Like people, uh, proper nouns. Now this is again categorized as proper nouns and common nouns. Like proper nouns, specific names of person like Tom, John, Jacob, etc. Common nouns like boys, girls. So likewise, similarly, places, any particular place. Now I live in UAE, United Arab Emirates, so this is a proper noun. So it's like this. Now, can you all look at this picture, since we are focusing on writing a descriptively about a jungle scene. Now, I have presented before you an image. Can you think of 5 adjectives based on this picture? So if you could find 5 adjectives. Now, definitely think about nouns also. Like, first of all, my strategy would be that you look for different nouns, like zebra, elephant. How would you describe these nouns? So please tell me in comment section. Okay, list of 5 adjectives based on this picture. And as I told you, first hunt for nouns, and then once you find your nouns, you describe them using adjectives. Now, as writers, we need to be as creative and interesting as possible. So this means, as I told you before in our success criteria, that we use a wider vocabulary. If your adjectives are on the banned list, you will have to think of new ones. What do I mean when I say banned list? Look at this one. Now these are, why did I say that these are on banned list? So try to, you see, it's just a strong word to say banned list, but the intention was that instead of using simple adjectives, try to look for complex ones. So from where will you get that? I would suggest that either you use thesaurus. Even online, you can open you just type in the search engine thesaurus. So I think the first option which would open would be Collins thesaurus. So there you will get synonyms. So what are synonyms? Synonyms are the words, different words, but they have the similar meaning. So like instead of like if I say just see the big is very common word. So you can say enormous, humongous, like that, huge. So this is what I mean to say that you should try to use interesting adjectives. Now, next comes very important when you write descriptively, you need verbs. Verbs are action words, doing words. Usually they end in suffix ed or ing. Ed you will get when the action is already over, and ing when it is going on. So it depends on the tense. Okay, so now here you can see the lion roared. So next is, now what type of word is this? Lion. How many of you got it as noun? Well done to you. Now this is verb because it tells us what the lion is doing. Now similarly, let's get back to the same picture and make a list of 5 verbs to accompany your nouns. You already have your nouns. You described it using adjectives. Now let's talk about those nouns. Those now they have turned out to be expanded nouns, so you can add a verb to it, like whatever noun you have chosen. What could they be doing? So, for example, so now adverbs. Okay, this is again another part of speech. Adverbs, their function is they are like friends. You can say they are like friends to verbs. They describe verbs. They add detail to explain how the action is being done. We know the noun lion, what action the lion did, roared. But then how this action was done? Slowly. It was done slowly. So slowly is an adverb. So what was this word, class? I know you got it right. This is a noun. This road is a verb or an adjective? So well done if you got it as a verb. And then as I mentioned, slowly is an adverb because it tells us how the lion was roaring by describing the action of its roar and creates a much clearer image for the reader. Let's get back to the same picture because this picture was our focus. We were supposed to write descriptively about a jungle scene. So here you got your nouns, you got your adjectives, you have added action to your nouns, you have described how the action was done. So now you know it how to do it, sorry. And now you use the same picture and you make a list of 5 adverbs to describe your verbs. So you must be noticing how slowly and gradually we are expanding, the nouns. We just got few words and then with the correct parts of speech, we are expanding it. So now you should now have a list of 5 nouns. Please have like this is my checklist. I would just like you to see if you have used this. 5 adjectives, 5 verbs, 5 adverbs. So now we have a good basis for some writing. However, great writers need a little bit more. So what do I mean when I say little bit more? Devices. Now, very important, we also call this as figurative language or figurative devices. So under this comes a simile. A simile describes something by comparing it to something else using like or as. So now, since our focus was about lion, the lion's roar was like a trumpet. So here we compared lions roaring with the sound of a trumpet, calling the pride to war. So now group of lions together, like if we talk about as in collective nouns, it is known as pride. Okay. So now you see that it has changed into a very meaningful and interesting sentence. Next is, you can also say the elephant's skin So here we are focusing on, we are describing how the skin was as gray. So as gray as the miserable sky. Why did we say miserable sky? Maybe because it might be gloomy due to storm, or maybe the thundering, could be any reason. So you see how we have used similes here. So same thing, let's continue, use your ideas to so far to create at least two similes. Okay. Next comes figurative device metaphors. Now, similes and metaphors both are figurative devices. The only difference is metaphors describe something as being something else, and they do not use the word like or as to describe. So if we see the same thing, the lion's roar was a trumpet calling the pride to war. So metaphors are very powerful way to describe and can create strong, vivid images. They are a really useful tool when describing. So try to think of at least one metaphor to use with your ideas so far. If you have any difficulty understanding similes and metaphors, please let me know through your comments. So I'll create a separate video for this. Next comes alliteration. Now, alliteration is also one of the figurative device. It's an effective way of adding sound to your description, and they usually pick up the first the letter, in the alphabets. Now, for example, the roaring. You see, it is highlighted with blue. Roaring are rumbled repeatedly in the distance. So the repetition of the r sound helps the reader to hear the sounds of the scene they are imagining. So this is what is alliteration. I'll be posting a separate video on alliteration. Next comes personification. It is one of the figurative device. It's like giving human quality, as in simple words, to non-living things. It's a great way to bring your writing to life. It gives human qualities or characteristics or something non-human. The jungle leaves, now leaves. This is not something, to be considered as human. So if you say the jungle leaves reached out to engulf me, reached out, can it really reach out like a human? No, but here they are, giving human quality to leaves. So we know that leaves don't really reach out to grab us, but this gives the jungle a more sinister quality and feels as if it is alive. So your turn. Now your task is to write a description of a jungle scene. It doesn't have to describe this picture, but you can use it to help you. And just once you've done your, let's say you write a paragraph of 4 to 5 lines, maximum five lines, let's say. Try to use nouns, adjectives, verbs, adverbs, figurative devices, and so that will help you. Try to create a clear, vivid image for the reader. So whatever we have learned, all those ideas, you synchronize and use lots of interesting vocabulary. Use thesaurus for look for interesting synonyms and figurative language, and at least write 2 to 3 paragraphs for your description. But I'm just asking you to write one paragraph, at least having 4 to 5 lines. Put it in comment section so that I can review it and I can tell you, where how to improve further. And please feel free. This is your checklist. Try to use interesting adjectives, powerful verbs, carefully select adverbs, similes, metaphors, alliteration, personification. Okay. So, and then please put it for, then you can pick one particular object, person. Once you're done with this activity, animal from your description, and create a detailed description of just that object, person, or animal. Okay, then highlight any vocabulary you think you could improve in your work and use a thesaurus to make a better word choice. Use what you have learned today to write a description of one of the following. I'm giving you some topics like a beach, a busy market, the first day of school. Now, this is a plenary. Look at this short section of writing. The crimson ball in the sky seemed to stare furiously down at him. So, see, this is so interesting. You can see variety of words, interesting vocabulary. And this is what we say, writing creatively. We have described it